If credit cards charge interest, and interest is riba, then is every Muslim who owns a credit card committing a sin? Or is the reality more nuanced? Today we're unpacking one of the most misunderstood financial questions in modern Muslim life. Because avoiding riba is clear in Islam, but living in a credit-based world, that's more complex. Let's unbox it. What exactly is riba? Before we talk about credit cards, we need clarity. Riba, in simple terms, is guaranteed increase on a loan. You lend $100. You demand $110 back. That extra $10, predetermined and guaranteed, is riba. The Quran strongly condemns it because it creates exploitation, imbalance, and financial injustice. So the core issue is not money. It's money that grows simply because of time, without risk or trade. Now let's apply that to credit cards. How credit cards actually work. A credit card is technically a short-term loan. You borrow from the bank. You repay later. Here's the key detail. Backhand index pointing right. If you pay the full balance before the due date, no interest is charged. Backhand index pointing right. If you carry a balance past the due date, interest begins accumulating. So the real question becomes, is simply owning the card riba? Or is riba only triggered when interest is actually paid? Most contemporary scholars differentiate between entering a contract that allows interest and actually engaging in an interest transaction. And this is where scholarly opinions differ. The scholarly perspectives. There are generally two views. View 1, permissible with strict conditions. Many scholars say, a credit card can be used if you always pay the full balance on time. You never allow interest to accumulate. You are disciplined and financially stable. In this case, you are using the card as a payment tool, not as a borrowing tool. No interest paid equals no riba committed. View 2, avoid it entirely. Other scholars argue, even signing a contract that includes interest clauses is problematic, because you are agreeing to a system that includes riba, even if you intend not to trigger it. They recommend debit cards or Islamic alternatives instead. Practical reality. Now let's be honest. In many countries, hotels require credit cards. Car rentals require them. Online purchases are safer with them. Building a credit score affects housing access. So for many Muslims, the credit card becomes less about luxury and more about financial navigation. The ethical question becomes, are you using it as a convenience tool, or are you relying on borrowed money? Intention matters, but discipline matters more. If you cannot guarantee full repayment monthly, then the risk of riba becomes very real. A balanced take. Here's the grounded conclusion. Owning a credit card is not automatically riba. Paying interest is. If a Muslim pays in full every month, avoids late fees, uses it purely as a transaction tool, many scholars consider this permissible. But if it leads to debt, to compounding interest, to financial dependence, then it contradicts the very wisdom behind the prohibition. Islamic finance is not just about technical loopholes. It's about protecting dignity, stability, and justice. Before we close, it's important to step back and remember that the heart of this discussion is not plastic cards or technical contracts. It's consciousness. Riba is not just a legal category. It is a moral boundary meant to protect us from cycles of dependency and quiet financial harm. A credit card, in itself, is a tool. In disciplined hands, it can function as a payment method. In careless hands, it becomes a doorway to accumulating debt that grows silently in the background. The real question is not, do you own one, but does it own you? When financial tools begin shaping our behavior, our stress levels, and our long-term stability, that's when reflection becomes necessary. Islam encourages awareness, responsibility, and intentional living. And this topic is ultimately about whether our financial habits reflect those values. Now I'd love to hear from you. Do you use a credit card? Do you avoid them completely? Or do you prefer Islamic banking alternatives? Let's discuss respectfully in the comments. And if you want more clear, practical breakdowns of modern finance through an Islamic lens, one day the value of real economy will be accepted widely. Credit card is not a borrowing tool, but useful payment tool. Provide cash independency and security, on the other hand, obligate to strict monthly payment habit. Maintained monthly payment cycle provides some luxuries. Using for borrowing and sustain with minimum payment, it turns to endless payment cycle. Subscribe to Islamic Finance Unboxed. We're not here to judge. We're here to understand. Until next time.